this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange to how we're safe and home? So that I count in days until the second glow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just start to top the notes. It's all you need to do.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another Good Morning Tottenham. So good morning to you all out there. I hope you guys have calmed down a bit, because I haven't. And yeah, still trying to kind of work out what actually happened in the North London derby, what's going on this season. Trying to, I don't know. I'm just really down at the moment with what's going on.
Not surprised.
It's hard to take. It is hard to take. And when you look at the kind of situation that's going on in the club, yes, we all know where the problems stem from. But is Nuno compounding the problems? Are the squad compounding the problems? I mean, what is going on at our football club right now?
It's hard to know how much is down to Nuno, how much is down to the players, how much is down to like our squad. It's how much was down to Arsenal up in their game. I mean,
but it's not just that Arsenal game, is it? Because that Palace game, we got complete, like, Nuno's tactics got shown up that game. Nuno's tactics got shown up at the Arsenal game. Nuno's tactics, even when we've won, haven't been. I mean, a Man City game aside, Nuno's tactics, even when we've won, haven't exactly been miraculous, have they?
No, but it's always difficult when he's trying to implement a different style of playing. Well, I assume so anyway. So what Mourinho was doing, more aggression, and that stuff takes time, and especially when the squad haven't been together, everyone's had different level of fitness training and all that kind of stuff. People have been away, and people are wanting to leave. It's a difficult situation. It's culminated in a fractured performances, and it doesn't seem like everyone's pulling in the same direction right now, and he needs to sort it out. You have to remember, it's only 6 games in. It's not a long time, not a long time into the season. So I understand why everyone's impatient, because losing so badly to your rivals Arsenal and Chelsea like that we did, and putting in such insipid, pathetic performances, that's obviously going to have big question marks. It's obviously going to make you question: is this guy up to the challenge? Like, is it better to cut ties as soon as possible? But we need, unfortunately, it's boring and people don't want to hear it, but you need to be patient. That's the only way. Otherwise, we're going to end up firing him. I'm going to get another person in who's going to be another plaster over the problem, and it's not going to solve anything. You just need to, I don't know. You just need to be patient, I guess. So what else can we do?
Nothing. There's nothing else we can do. But the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust are asking for clarification. The trust asked Tottenham Hotspur Board to explain a strategy. So there's a small little article here on the website here from the Supporters Trust. Shall we get it up? Do you want to get it up on the
we
screen
can get
share?
it up. 1 sec. You don't see it? 1 sec.
All right, we're just getting it up for you for 1 second. Just give us a second.
Oh, did I disconnect from the rendezvous by accident? Sorry, my bad. 1 sec. I'll just be with you in 1 sec. Bear with. Oh, we didn't post it. All right.
Good morning, Brian Daigle in the comments. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning. And you'll probably be very interested in the topics today. The Tottenham Hotspur Board are asking for clarification from the Tottenham Board in terms of what direction this club is going in. And it is very concerning. It's concerning in all parts of this club, not just what's happening with the managerial situation and stuff like that. The playing staff need to be very much looked at. Everything needs to be looked at the moment, because nothing seems to be going right. Nothing seems to be going right. And, everyone kind of could have been mistaken for it going right first 3 games of the season, but ultimately the performances still didn't look good enough. We were getting away with a few things beginning of the season, and now it seems as though like the fitness has gone down, everything's gone down, and just everything is conspiring against us right now. But let's go onto this website and let's see what they're saying.
Okay.
So it says, over the past few weeks, we've been contacted by an increasing number of trust members and the wider base who are extremely concerned about the current direction of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Part of our role as a trust is to ensure the club's board are fully aware of supporter sentiment, so we have asked for a meeting with the club's executive board to discuss both the short and long-term strategic vision of the football club. The club's board will be aware of the questions currently being asked by the trust, by fans and by the media. This meeting therefore is an opportunity for the decision makers at Tottenham Hotspur to explain their plans to supporters. This explanation should include plans for this season and beyond, an explanation of how success will be measured and how the club's DNA will be regained. We await their response and will update our website as soon as there is any news.
Is there any answer that is satisfactory to what Spurs could say? Because let's be honest.
No, I don't think there is.
Let's be honest, like we saw in the summer, there's a complete lack of strategy at the club. There's a complete lack of vision within the club, and they don't know what I don't know what they think success looks like, to be honest. But they don't know what direction we're going in. They just kind of went with Nuno, who because everyone else rejected us, so it's not like it was a clear plan to pick Nuno. So are they going to say, oh, Nuno was our plan all along, it was all part of a long-term strategy? It's like, it's bollocks. We all know that's bollocks. They can't say that. They have to, unless they say, look, we tried to get all these managers and we couldn't get them, so we had to settle for Nuno. We know, and any other answer other than that, it's just a lie, because we know it's a lie. So but they're never going to say that, are they?
No.
They're not going to say that. They're not going to say we settled for Nuno and we were just papering over the cracks so we can get a better manager and a better vision. Because at the moment there is no vision and strategy at the club.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what they're expecting to get out of this, but I mean, the questions, I guess, do need to be asked, but you just know you're not going to get an answer, do you?
Why didn't they ask over the summer when midway through the managerial search, like, what the hell's going on? Maybe that would have been nice, but...
Well, I mean, they were trying to ask stuff over the summer, but they weren't getting much in response, were they?
No.
I mean, but to be fair, I mean, they did reject a couple of meetings with the board at the time of the Super League and stuff like that. And even at that time, you know, we knew there was no vision at the club. Ryan Mason was in charge, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So... it's hard to know. It's hard to know what the right thing is to do because, you know, protesting doesn't seem to be working. We don't seem to be getting enough numbers. Putting pressure on the board doesn't seem to be working. The Spurs Supporters Trust don't seem to have any pull or have any weight to do anything really. So, I mean, which way do we go? I mean, we're completely stuck in this rut, in my opinion. I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, I mean, part of me feels like, you know, that's wrong thing. Part of me feels like it's too early to be just too early in the season. I understand we've got three goal defeats in a row, but with a new manager and everything and all the problems he's had, it's like part of me feels like it's too early to start demanding these answers just yet. But we know that the questions are rightfully asked because of what's happened.
I get that it's too early because he's only been here 5-6 games. I completely understand it, and I get it. But you know, usually when a new manager comes in, you've got every player fighting for the badge, trying to get in that team. Everyone seems to be on side from the get-go. Normally, I know it wasn't like that with Poch because there was a lot of people we needed to weed out. Is it just the same situation as that then? Are there a lot of players in this squad that we need to weed out?
Well, we've probably known that for a while, haven't we?
Because that's the kind of situation we're in. We're not here to the players aren't on side, are they? The players are not on side. They're putting in insipid performances. They're strolling around in North London derbies. They're an absolute disgrace, but I don't think it's being helped by the tactics of Nuno either.
Well, that's the thing with Nuno, isn't it? If we can see here, one sec, if we get this tweet up from Nathan Clark yesterday. We can see, you can see here, everyone was complaining. Jamie Carragher's on.
Mike, probably.
One sec, guys. All right. As you can see here, this is Nuno's Valencia team back in 2015. No movement, no in the middle. There's no one in the ball close to him as well to pick up the ball and add some ball progression. Porto 2016. He's got the ball here on the right hand side. Pretty much no help throughout. If you look around here, there's just no help whatsoever. He's forced to go long. This is Wolves back in 2018 against Spurs. Look, Spurs have complete. Oh, I can't really see it, can you? One sec. If you zoom, can you zoom out a bit, maybe? There we go. Spurs have like complete control, as you can see, like in the centre. There's just no Wolves players in sight. Then obviously Spurs against Arsenal yesterday, 2 days ago now. It seems to be a tactic from Nuno to go very direct and to kind of put the defence under immediate pressure. And that's why we saw so many. I think the long balls actually, it wasn't a case of the players not having the option, so forced to go long. I think that was the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I said yesterday, we can move on the title, by the way, but, you know, what I was saying is that yesterday I was saying I don't believe that it was a plan. After seeing Carragher's explanation of it all and after, you know, looking into it a bit more, I do think it was a plan.
Yeah.
I do think it was a plan. Ali was tucked up there. Ndombele was tucked up there. They were hitting long balls to Harry Kane, hoping for knockdowns for Ndombele and Ali and Son and stuff like that. And, you know, Ben White was winning the ball every time in the air against Harry Kane.
Yeah. And, sorry. But when it comes to that, I think that was a classic case of, as I said in my post-match interview, we underestimated them. And that's classic proof of that. We thought that if we would just go very direct, put their defence under pressure like that with the long balls, have Ndombele and Ali, Kane, Son, Lucas all really high up, that they would crack.
Yeah, and we basically just tried to ruffle a few feathers in their defence. Didn't work.
Well, the quality
Pure
first of all wasn't there.
Sam Allardyce tactics, that's all it is.
First of all, the quality from our centre-backs wasn't there in terms of the long balls into the box. And then as well, the long balls, because the quality wasn't there, it was very easy for Arsenal to defend it. And once they defended it, they pretty much had a free run at our defence every single time.
Yeah,
that was the causality of Nuno's tactics, and to not have anyone in central midfield helping out. Why did you need both Dele and Ndombele in that position? At least, you know, if you swapped one of them for Skip, at least Skip's there to get the second balls and to recycle the ball and keep possession. But because Ndombele and Dele were both so far up the pitch, it just meant it was a matter of time before the ball fell for Arsenal, and that's exactly what Carragher was saying. And it did fall for them a number of times in the end, but it could see from minute one, it was only a matter of time until Arsenal were going to get in on our goal. And so it proved. So, I mean, I don't know whether maybe that tactic could work against a different team, but it was I thought suicide in this game.
Absolute suicide. And I don't think, you know, we shouldn't be playing this way of football with the players we have. We shouldn't. Our only game plan shouldn't be get it to our defence, ping it long, and hope for a few knockdowns to win it in the air. It's absolute toilet football. It is. And I mean, like, with the players we had on the pitch, like Ndombele in the middle of the park, Højbjerg there, who carries the ball sometimes, you know, the flying wing-backs, you know, why the hell are we not playing football, trying to play through them like we know we can? Ndombele, that's his forte.
It makes no sense to have Ndombele and Dele and then go long so often and try and rely on them to fight their way to the second balls and to put them under pressure that way. It makes no sense. Ali and Ndombele are very much more comfortable with the ball on the ground and playing football and trying to go past players and quick passes and interchanges and that kind of stuff. So why Nuno decided to put them all up front and then risk us being so wide open, because in the hope that if we lump it long enough, there'll be enough players up front for us to win a bit of possession and get something, is ludicrous.
Yeah,
it's ludicrous. And not only that, it was so easy for Arsenal. All they had to do was put Xhaka and Partey there. And as soon as they win the ball, they had Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, and Aubameyang on our goal every time.
But I don't understand what he's thinking. What's he thinking, Nu? What does he think is going to happen? Does he really think that we're just going to bully this Arsenal defence and long ball game is really going to work? Do you really think that long ball game is really going to work? Like,
this is my point. I think we underestimated them big time. Big time. I think we thought that we could bully them. I think we thought that if we put their defence under enough pressure, it would be easy to create loads of chances against them. But we didn't realise that they've toughened up. They've got, with Partey and Gabriel there, they've got a lot of aggression in the centre with Xhaka there as well. And it's not going to be just going long ball all the time isn't going to be a tactic conducive to getting joy out of this Arsenal side like we thought. We thought we could do what Brentford did basically, and go really direct and just get Ivan Toney up there and bully them and get a lot of joy up front. But it wasn't like that whatsoever. Dele's not going to do that. Ndombele's not going to do that. They're not fighters.
And Ben White had Harry Kane on toast.
Ben White had Harry Kane exactly in his pocket, in the air. So you got to start getting it on the ground. You got to start playing some football. You got to start bringing your best players into their fortes and with elements of trying to break the lines. You know, Ndombele's at his best with the balls at his feet and taking on players and doing quick things on instinct. You can't do that when you're lumping the ball long all the time.
And I'm sorry, but you could see something was horribly wrong after the first few minutes of the game. I remember saying it like, well, we're not at the races here. I said it to you in the first few minutes of the game. And you could see that straight away. So...
And also, Tommy Arsu as well. Tommy Arsu was always going to be dominant in that
exactly.
kind of
But what sort of manager doesn't change it when he sees things going wrong? Why do you wait till half-time until it's too late?
Because he wanted time, I guess, to implement for the plan to be implemented. And it just, I think
it was getting worse and worse as the first half wore on. And like, those first few minutes were massive alarm bells. And if he can't see it and everyone else can see it, then what the hell's going on?
Yeah, but in his defence on that front, sorry, got a bit of a cold today. In his defence on that front, sometimes you can start a game badly and then grow into it, and you can get back in the game and start dominating whatever. So it's difficult. It's difficult to really know if your plan is definitely not going to work because until you give it time. I think at 2-0 he should have changed it. I think at 2-0 he 100% should have changed it. But I think at 1-0 you're still waiting to see, okay, can they implement my plan? But at 2-0, you know it's not working.
I think maybe some cases you can say that, but with the amount of times they were opening us up time and time and time again, you can't keep it like that. You have to change something. Even at 0-0, even at 1-0. 12 minutes in, they scored, right? Mm-hmm. Before that, they must have had about 3 or 4 chances. And you could see they were going to open us up at will. Even those first few minutes here that Jamie Carragher was spotting out, the alarm bells were completely there, but we were winning some of the second balls that kind of got us out of a bit of trouble. After we won those second balls, I don't think we won another second ball for the rest of the first half.
No. I think the plan was wrong from the start. We all know that.
Yeah, but you have to see the bigger picture. You have to change things. You have to. If you're a manager in the Premier League,
if every manager did that, then I think you'd be changing it all the time. You know what I mean? I think if Tuchel changed it at half time, but he could have been losing it at half time against Spurs, but obviously they weren't. But I'm saying you can't.
It's completely different.
I don't think you can always just change it immediately all the time.
It's completely different because that Tuchel thing. Yeah, Spurs were on top and we had we were looking good in possession and stuff like that, but we weren't creating too many chances. It wasn't like a massive structural problem from Chelsea where they were getting split open every time. Arsenal were splitting us open at will. At will. And if you can't change it and you can't see what's happening on that pitch, then I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. Like, come on. Like, it's a complete different situation what happened at White Hart Lane when Chelsea came.
Yeah, and I think he should have changed it earlier. I think he should have changed it. I think he should have changed it probably at 2-0. I think that would have been the right time to change it. Prevent that third goal going again. You're still in the game. I think that 2-0 down, that was the biggest mistake. But I still think I can understand why he didn't change it before then, because I still think you got to let the game play out a bit in front of you to see how it goes, how your tactics are going. Obviously, for the first 20 minutes, it went horrifically wrong. And I think once it went 2-0, he should have changed it. But I think sometimes you don't know how it's going to go until it's played out in front of you. And that's how it played out.
Everyone in that stadium could see the way it was going. Yeah, it's easy to say that in
hindsight. It's easy to say that.
Yeah, of course it is easy to say it in hindsight, but everyone, I said to you after the first 2 minutes, this ain't going to go well.
I could probably name you 100 games where the first 10 minutes we've been terrible and we'll go on to win, you know what I mean? It happens. We don't know whether it's a bad spell or it's just awful tactics until it plays out. And I think at 2-0, at that point you say, okay, this ain't working, change it.
Yeah, but he should have the foresight for that. And we're just fans going to games and watching a game, fine, maybe we can't assess it as well as he goes. He's the manager of the team. He should be able to see if it's working or not and if his plan is coming to fruition or not.
Yeah, yes, true. That's very true.
You know what I mean? and he couldn't see that, and he couldn't see that against Crystal Palace either. And
Yeah, Palace, he should have changed it at half time.
Palace, he should have changed it at half time. Arsenal, we should have changed it within the first half, and he's failed to do that, and we've had 2 horrible losses. 3-0 against Crystal Palace, which is unheard of, and 3-1 against Arsenal at the Emirates in a complete insipid no-show. It's nowhere near good enough. The managerial tactics on show from Nuno is not good enough. The kind of the players as well.
But he would have learned stuff about his players, like about Dele and Ndombele and what kind of role he's putting them in. You know, he obviously, in hindsight, it was easy to say it's not going to work, and Dele, well, you could never put Dele and Ndombele in that position. And look, of course, if you asked me before the game, I would have said it would have been a disaster. But now he knows that he can't do that. And
why didn't he know before that? If you know.
Because we've seen Dele and Ndombele for a lot longer than he has.
Yeah, but he should be doing his homework. He's the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. He should have known this. He's the manager, for God's sake. He sees them every day in training. He should have been watching videos of previous
Why
years
did it take
as well.
Pochettino till November to starting Harry Kane? You know what I mean? It's just how it is sometimes.
Because no one had ever seen Harry Kane play.
We did. We played in Europa League every single week.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? And he kept playing Adebayo and Soldado. Why? It just because he had to figure it out. And then he figured it out. And I want to give Nuno a same amount of time.
I think it's completely different. Harry Kane was a young player coming through the ranks. Yeah, he played in a few Europa League games and done well. Dele Alli has been at the fore for 6-7 years now. Ndombele, everyone knows his flaws for the last couple of years. You know what I mean? It's a completely different situation with
Nuno's
Pochettino
still
and
new
Nuno.
to this team.
He is new to this team, but he needs to get to the grips with it a lot quicker than he is.
That's what I'm saying. It still needs a bit of time. He needs time to figure everyone out still, and that's just reality. Unfortunately, I know it's hard. It's not.
Who plays without a midfield?
Yeah, of course, it was terrible. It was terrible.
Who actually thinks it's a good idea? You know what? Today, everyone says the game is won and lost in midfield. Let's play without one today.
Yeah, because I think what happened was he listened too much to the fans who wanted more attacking football, and he went attacking. He went gung ho, actually. Pretty much. That's what I feel. He went way too attacking. He went way too overboard. But that's what a lot of the fans were calling for. Oh, just have a go.
No
go
fans,
for it.
No fans are calling to get the ball to Eric Dyer and get the ball to Davinson Sanchez and lump it forward for 45 minutes. No fan is calling for that. None.
No, but they're looking for
to play good attacking football on the floor. You know what I mean? Play the Tottenham way. Go gung-ho. Yeah, fine, go gung-ho. I don't mind if you go gung-ho, but actually play it in a clever way. You know what I mean? Don't just lump it forward and hope for the best.
Yeah, you're right. I don't understand what the strategy was in terms of trying to get joy out of that physical Arsenal backline. It made no sense. But I don't agree with the strategy at all. And if that's the best he has to offer, then we're in big trouble. But I think he was going very attacking. That was the thing. And imagine if we started skipping Højbjerg and Dele in the centre and it went wrong, everyone would have said, oh, he's so defensive, all that kind of stuff. So, obviously less likely to go wrong, but I think he was trying, I don't know whether it was influence from the top or I don't know what it was. I think he just went really attacking to kind of
but there's
suit
ways
the
to
fans.
Do it, man. There's a way to do it, and that I'm sorry, but that you don't appease the fans by playing no midfield and lumping it forward for all game. You don't do that.
He underestimated Arsenal.
It's ridiculous. It's Bolton tactics. That's how Bolton used to found joy against Arsenal back in the day with Sam Allardyce. You know what I mean? Like that's Bolton tactics. That's Stoke tactics. That's not a team going for Europe's tactics. I'm sorry. It's not. We got a super chat here from Negul Maguran saying, hey Ben and Sim, feel your pain supporting Spurs since the 80s, missing the football we played before. Something's not right. This is hurting, guys. Yeah, absolutely spot on. And it's true. Like, something is not right, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. I know, obviously, it all stems from the top and stuff like that, but this manager and these players are put in a situation by the chairman, but they should be producing a lot better with what they've got at the moment.
Yeah, well, we've known this for a while. There's just these players there are players in the team. There are players in the team who are not up for it right now, who don't want to give that extra bit of effort. And it's been that case for a while. It's been that case since the end of Pochettino's reign, and we keep blaming managers left, right, and centre. But and Nuno's tactics definitely did not help. But I don't know. It's not always the manager. I feel like, how many times can we blame the manager until the players take more responsibility?
Yeah, I agree. I agree that the players need to take responsibility, and the players didn't look up for it on the weekend. But I actually think this is a different case to under Jose last year, or what we've seen maybe even earlier on this season. But I think yesterday, after seeing all the kind of assessments from everyone, I think yesterday was mainly down to Nuno. I genuinely believe that because of those tactics, the players were fighting a losing battle from minute one, especially with him not changing it.
Yeah, I agree with that. The tactics were suicide. I don't understand. I think mainly, if you've got good passers, say you got Thiago Silva or whatever at the back with Alderweireld, then that can work. But when you have Dyer and Sanchez, it's never going to work. Mm-hmm. It's never going to work. You don't have the quality to play into the forward line that you need if you're going to make it stick and actually create opportunities and maybe little dinks over the top and get players running on goal. The only time it did work was when Kane got in like once, and that was it. Other than that, nothing. We didn't have any sort of quality on the back line. So it was never that kind of tactic was never going to work. And that's why we needed to build through the midfield with our quality players. And that the tactics didn't lend to that until we got to the second half.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he got it completely wrong. But look,
how many more performances like this can he survive though? And also, like, even if he does put more performances like this, like he surely he's got to survive, because there's no plan. There's no plan anyway. You know what I mean? Like, who can we even bring in if we do sack Nuno?
Don't know.
There's no one.
I'm sure there's someone out there, but it's hard to envisage who right now. I'm sure there are managers we can get, but anyone who would satisfy
Tony
us.
Pulis, Sam Allardyce, you know what
No,
I mean? Like,
I
who
think
are we
they're
going to get?
probably a good manager you can get, but I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure we're not going to sack him anyway until there's a replacement in place. Like that's how it works with Tottenham. We like to talk to people before we do anything.
Yeah, that's what you said about Jose Mourinho as well.
That's true. And Mourinho, we completely screwed that. Well, we gave it to Mason, didn't we?
We gave it to Mason, but that shows we didn't have a plan.
Yeah. We didn't talk. Well, the whole Mourinho thing was different. I feel like that was just made on a whim. Usually when we sack a manager, like for example Poch, like there was inklings about it for a few weeks where he was going to get sacked and everything. And then remember the international break, everyone was saying there was rumours he was actually going to get sacked, and then he ended up getting sacked. And Martin Jol, they were talking to Ramos months before, before sacking him and stuff like that. I feel like Mourinho was different. They just did that on a whim.
Yeah, but can you not see, like, if these results keep happening, these performances keep happening, let's say for argument's sake we go out and lose our next 3 games, right? I don't think we will, but let's say we do, right? Against Aston Villa, Newcastle away, and West Ham away. Do you not think Levy's just going to panic and pull the trigger?
Don't know. It depends. It really depends. If it's really as bad as it has been in the last 3 games, then yeah. It really depends on how it goes. Even if we lose the next 3, there are genuine signs of improvement in a weird way. Even losing the next 3 wouldn't be signs of improvement, but I don't know. It's difficult. It's really difficult to say. It's difficult to say just based on us losing. But do I say he panics and sacks him if we lose 6 games in a row? I mean, it'd be hard not to.
That's what I'm saying.
It'd be hard not to, but I don't know. Well, it's just a hypothetical situation. I don't know.
It is a hypothetical situation, but
if he wins the next 2 games, is he going to get manager of the month? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Probably. But nobody can see where our next win's coming from at the moment.
Yeah, everyone says that always after a bad defeat.
It's not just a bad defeat, though. It's not just a bad defeat. It's 2 actually horrific defeats. Absolutely horrific defeats. That Crystal Palace one, like I said, everyone could have spotted the problems. You need to change it at half-time. Didn't do that. Against Arsenal, Like, the tactics were completely shocking. Needed to change it within that first half. Didn't do that. We ended up losing the game dramatically, both games. Absolutely horrible defeats. I really hope that he can turn this around and like we can find a way around it. But it's really tough, man. It's really tough.
I remember Conte in his first. I'm not saying Nuno's any Conte, but I'm just saying Conte in his first few weeks at Chelsea, he was having a real time. He nearly got sacked in his first few weeks.
Yeah, went off to win the league that year.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to win the league, but I'm just saying, you know, I remember he had a terrible defeat against Arsenal. They were 3-0 down at half time. Horrific defeat. And everyone, I was off the back of a terrible loss to Liverpool, I remember.
Yeah.
And everyone was questioning whether he was going to stay on the job, but then he turned it around. And, you know, it's only 6 games. Like, Nuno needs time. He needs time. And obviously when things go as badly as they did on Sunday, it's hard to see any light at the end of the tunnel and think he's anything more to his locker and how badly he got it so wrong on Sunday. But that doesn't mean he can't figure it out.
I'm not saying he can't figure it out. I'm just saying that the alarm signs are there. They're there right now.
Of course they are, and he needs to do it quickly because of how bad that defeat was. But doesn't mean he can't.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But you know, there are complete levels between Nuno and Conte. You know what I mean? Conte saw the problem after that Arsenal game. Yeah, albeit he had problems before that, and you know, didn't do that. But as soon as that Arsenal game, as soon as what happened against Arsenal happened, he was just like, you know what, I'm not taking no more shit anymore.
Okay, so maybe Nuno needs to do that.
He changed it completely up, and then he found the winning structure, and then he pretty much, I don't know, did he lose another game that season? Maybe 1 or 2 games that season.
Lost to us.
And that was it.
I think he lost a couple more. Anyway.
He hardly lost the game for the rest of the season, pretty much. Anyway.
Yeah, obviously we're not expecting Nuno to do that. I'm not expecting Nuno to do that, but it doesn't mean he can't figure out a way of playing for Tottenham to be semi-successful.
I really hope he can, man. I really hope he can, because this the last.
I think it's just way too early to start writing him off. I think it's way too early.
It's the last thing we need now is a manager change. That's literally the last thing we need.
I think it's so early to start talking about that. I really do. I think it's so early to start talking about a managerial change, even considering it at this point. And it's too early.
But you're saying if we do lose our next 2 games, it's not too early to start talking about it.
No, I said no. I still think it is, but I would say, what I would say is, if we do lose our next 3 games hypothetically in this hypothetical situation, I'd say the pressure would be very, very high.
Do you really think it's that unbelievable to think that we can lose our next 3 games? Like, Villa have just turned the corner. They're playing really well at the moment. West Ham, I mean, that's going to be a very difficult game. So those are 2 games that we can very easily lose. And the Newcastle game, fine, it'll be. If we lose that, then we really are in big trouble.
I think, look, obviously they're all good teams. They can beat us, but we have to make sure that we figure out a way of playing. We have to make sure that we figure out a way of playing that Nuno can figure out. I'm going to back Nuno to figure out how to get this team playing. No, maybe not going to win those 3 games, but I don't think we'll lose all 3.
Are you backing Nuno just because he's our manager, or some things that you've seen?
Not from the Arsenal game.
I'm saying some things you've seen since he's become a manager at Tottenham Hotspur. Are you? Is this blind faith just because he's a Spurs manager, or is this because
it's been
of
terrible.
Some things you've seen?
No, because of how Nuno's been previously in his other jobs, that he's figured it out. I think a lot of the time, especially with Wolves, I think he was a good manager. I do think that. So I don't think he's. Look, everyone says this guy's mediocre, whatever, and you know, you could argue that his managerial career before Tottenham was better than Pochettino's managerial career before Tottenham. Like, I'm not saying he's as good as Poch, but I'm just saying, just looking at there purely at where the level of where they were managing.
Fine,
before.
But Poch never really got sacked before he joined Spurs, did he?
He got sacked by Espanyol.
I thought he left Espanyol for Southampton.
He got sacked.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure he got sacked by Espanyol because they started the season really badly. And then Southampton he left for Tottenham. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to Nuno, when it comes to Nuno,
yeah,
I think that he has. I think he's in the previous jobs. He's proven to me he can create a good team. So I think I'm gonna give him more than 6 games to do it for Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I think he can do it.
Okay, I hope you're right, man. I really.
I
do.
know. Obviously, I'm not happy with how things have started. Of course, I'm not. But you got to have a little bit more faith than throwing in the towel after 6 games.
It's not about throwing in the towel. It's about seeing what you're seeing with your eyes and keeping your eyes open and the alarm bells are clearly ringing. You know what I mean? It's not just, you can't just have blind faith and be like, oh, you know what, he's going to turn it around. You need to look at what you're seeing. You need to look at what you're seeing, and it's just not good enough right now.
I'm seeing a manager who's trying to figure things out. He's got things horribly wrong in some tough games. The last 2 games was against was a North London derby, which obviously got horribly wrong, and a game against Chelsea, which are best team in the league. Before that, it was 0-0 up until we got a red card against Palace, albeit we weren't playing well. We're still 0-0 though. And then the past 3 games before that, we won 1-0 despite not playing the best football. We still got results, and we were in the. I don't think you could say, apart from maybe the Wolves game, you can't say we were definitely the worst team on the pitch. So I still think he's still trying to figure it out. He still needs time with the squad to figure out the best way of getting the best out of certain players, and it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job, and I'm hoping he can figure out a way of playing that could suit everyone, and I'm sure he's going back to the drawing board. And of course, 20th in shots, 20th in chances created, all this kind of stuff is horrific. It's terrible, but it's only 6 games. Let's give him a bit more time.
All right, I would agree with that. Tavis Gabidon says we'll never succeed with the broken Champions League final losers. Mr. Alternator says the toilet man. Okay. YP Toretta says, how did he get an idea of spraying long balls to wood get a win? Also, the way Nuno uses Son and Kane is frustrating me. They can do so much better. I think that's it for now. Rish as well. Can someone explain what is Kane's position this season? Winger, striker, false 9, false DM, false centre back. What the F? And Anna Hill Dawes says the whole Super League trash, the fan revolt, Levy and Enoch, the Kane transfer saga has seriously overshadowed my club. All the problems now will be felt for years. None of this is easily fixed.
No, none of it at all. Look, this club is a mess. We know that. It's been a mess for a long time.
Yeah. And to be honest, it's going to take a magician as a manager to come in and do something positive here. That's the facts of the matter.
It must be, yeah.
It's true. Like we need a magician to come into this club and to take us out of the doldrums. We need someone like a Pochettino that can literally get this whole squad on side, and revitalise them. Because at the moment, just things are not going well. Things are really not going well, and they haven't been going well for a while now. This obviously predates Nuno as well, so it's tough to see where we go.
Well, let's see what happens on. I bet what happens is we have a win on Thursday. Or who played Mura on Thursday? But we win on Thursday, everyone starts getting a bit excited again. That's what usually happens.
No one is going to get excited after a win against Mura.
Yeah, what do you mean? We beat Passos 2-0 and people were getting excited.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, Hill's the best thing. Everyone starts getting excited.
Yeah, but Hill is the best thing.
You know what I mean?
Hill's one of the players that can hold his head up high still.
Yeah,
from that
he's
North
playing
London
well.
derby.
Yeah, he's playing well at the moment. I'm just saying, like, we beat Passos and people would like take things from that game and start getting excited about it.
I mean, I don't think that's entirely true. I mean, like, yeah, fine, people got excited about Hill after that game, but I don't think people are excited with the performance and the win. It was just that one player that people were talking about because he had a great game, and it was the first time we saw him play.
Maybe.
So I don't think people are looking way into these kind of Conference League games, especially in the qualifiers against Passos. All right, do we have anyone waiting to come on? Can you turn your camera on and we can get you on? Is his camera on? It looks like his camera's like half on.
Yeah. Connor. It's Connor. Maybe he needs to reconnect. Maybe try to get him to reconnect.
Connor, your camera looks a bit strange. I mean, can you just try reconnect? Cheers, mate. Brian Daigle says he's in the back as well. Can you see him? All right, let's bring on Connor and then we'll see if Brian connects. Connor, how's it going, mate?
Morning, lads. How you doing?
Not great, mate, Connor. Not great. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I've not spoken to you since the Palace game. I thought I'd kind of distance myself a little bit. I honestly found myself getting a bit too stressed and emotional with it all, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I know how you feel, because I'm feeling exactly the same right now. I'm very emotional, maybe a bit too emotional, and I'm struggling with this whole Nuno thing at the moment, because yes, I understand managers need time. I understand that, and Pochettino needed time. Every new manager that comes into a club needs time. But when you can't really see anything happening on that pitch, the Crystal Palace tactics, completely wrong. He failed to change that at half time, where we could have got something out of that game if he did. Arsenal, he failed to change it during that second half, in that first half, where we probably could have got something out of the game if he did as well. I mean, where do you stand with all this with Nuno at the moment?
Exactly the same as you, mate. I said to you after the Palace game, I think it's important we stay calm. We don't knee-jerk. We, as fans, we continue to back him, because the Palace game, he was dealt a shit hand with the injuries, the players we had out, the circumstances. But, given the tools that we had against Palace, they still should have done a lot better than what they did. But as what you're saying, I think I always think it's fair to give managers time, and I'll always back whatever manager comes in. Nuno wasn't my first choice. He wasn't yours either, but we backed him and we wanted to give him time.
He was the club's 9th choice.
Yeah, exactly. But you still back him, you still give him time, and you still back the team.
100%.
But I think what we've seen is enough to suggest. Sorry, I think what we've seen is enough to suggest he's out of his depth. I really do think that. I think getting tactically outdone and then showing no reaction, it's almost like it was happening before he realised it was happening.
Exactly.
And as you were saying, he wasn't spotting the danger. He wasn't seeing what was unfolding before him in all 3 games. This isn't just the Arsenal game of the weekend we're talking about. We're talking about the second half in the Chelsea game. Tuchel made the change to bring Kante on, completely changed the game. And then you've got the Arsenal game is a whole different story in itself. And then the Palace game is just as bad as the Arsenal game, if not worse.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give him a pass for the Chelsea game, because anyone can get undone from Chelsea. They're an absolutely brilliant side. So I'm gonna put that one to one side. But the two that really hurt me are the Palace games and the Arsenal games.
Yeah.
That really hurt me. And even before that, when we were winning, against Wolves, against Watford. Yeah, I know we dominated the game against Watford, but we still weren't nowhere near good enough. And the Watford and the Wolves game as well. We were lucky to come out of that with a win. We were so lucky to come out of that with a win.
We were. And the Wolves game at the time, I remember watching it head in hands most of the time, thinking, how on earth have we not conceded here? They were having chance after chance. And we were lucky that day to even get a win. I mean, we could have lost the game, let alone draw.
Yeah.
So, but I do think we've seen enough. And I know, Levy isn't Abramovich, but we need to learn from Chelsea a bit with Lampard last season. Abramovich saw that Lampard wasn't working and he could have been given more time. And I think the general consensus when Lampard was sacked was that he deserved a bit more time. But Abramovich was brutal and he acted while the season was still young and there was still a chance to do something.
Well, it was in December.
Yeah, it was a lot
but
earlier
December last year was a lot earlier than it will be this year in the season.
It was still like 14, 15 games.
Season started in mid-September last year?
September time, yeah, but it was still like near halfway through.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they sacked Lampard, it was, yeah. Because remember, Lampard was manager when they lost to Arsenal that game, 3-1. That was at least 15, 16 games in.
It was. I think it was a little bit more time, but not too much as what we're at now. But I think I think Levy needs to act while the season is salvageable, because it can very easily slip away from us now in the next couple of weeks.
So you would sack him now?
Sorry?
You would sack him now?
I would. And I'm not usually a reactionary fan, and I always like to look at things very calmly and collectively and look at all avenues and try and bring positives where we can bring positives. But I just think the body language said it all on Sunday. Like, the players weren't agreeing with the game plan that he had chose to implement. And he said that in the interview at the end of the game. He says the players weren't responding to the game plan that I had chosen. I think when that happens, that's such a huge issue. They're not on the same wavelength. They're not on par. And he was tactically outdone by Arteta.
And Patrick Vieira.
And Patrick Vieira, who's only been at the club a few weeks, and it's his first big job, really. So I want to back him, I really do, and I'd love to be proved wrong. I'd love for him to turn it around, but I think
that's what we all want.
I think that is what we all want. But from what we've seen, it's very damning. You know, as you say, the alarm bells are there, but they're very loud alarm bells.
Yeah, I completely agree. I
just think it's 6 games in. I know what we've seen so far is not good enough, but I think it's still way too early. I really believe that it's still way too early, considering he came in quite late as well. Didn't have much of a pre-season with his team. Look, the signs are not good at the moment. I'm not denying that. I'm not liking what I'm seeing on the pitch, but it's still too early to say you're not producing. Need to get rid. I think that's too early. I think we could have been so much better, but doesn't mean he can't, given time, figure out how best to use the players at his disposal. He's still figuring out his team. He's so new to this job. Lampard had 18 months when he got sacked. You know, he didn't just get... And also, I'm looking here, he was halfway through the season. It was 19 games in, he got sacked. So it wasn't just 6 games in. I think hiring a manager and sacking him after 6 games when you've won half of them, let's be honest. I know we haven't played well. We still won half of them, though, on paper. I mean, I think that's ludicrous.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is a little reactionary in my sense. But I just feel like, from what we've seen, has been that poor. I mean, Ryan Mason was getting them to produce better displays than that.
Yeah.
And he was only managing the team for how long? So you know, I think I'm worried as well. On Thursday, we beat Mura. I think that's how you pronounce them. And all of a sudden, things are a little bit rosy and it papers over the cracks a bit. And then, you know, if we have another poor display against Villa, then what? So I think we should still give him time. But I'm growing very frustrated and a bit depressed at it, really.
If there's someone out there lined up who we really believe can implement an attacking style of play, and we're able, and we think we're convinced is someone who can bring in to improve the team, then I don't think. Because I do think Nuno is not that attacking. So like, I wanted someone who can bring more attacking brand football.
Gallardo's a free agent in December.
Gallardo from what, River Plate?
Yeah.
Well, that's December. We'll have to wait and see then. But like, look, I want a plan. I don't want them to do what they did with Mourinho. You know what I mean? Sack him and then wait 3 months to sign someone else.
You know that
would be a disaster.
That Gallardo for River Plate, in the Copa Libertadores last year. They had a COVID outbreak at the club, right? They had 12 fit players to play this one Copa Libertadores game, right? No goalkeepers available in the whole squad. He had a left back in goal and they won the game.
Impressive.
How nuts is that?
That is pretty nuts.
That's mad. I mean, we've had Harry Kane in goal before. Maybe Nuno should revert to that.
I'm saying if I know I keep harping back to this and whatever, and people could say it's like boring, but if you looked at Pochettino's first 6 games in charge, right, you would probably say he had no plan. It was terrible. Like, what's he doing? You would probably say similar things. And I know Nuno's got better players at disposal, which is true, but it is true. But Nuno's all I'm saying is Nuno is figuring it out. He hasn't had time to figure all of it out at the moment, and he's come up against Tuchel, who's been at Chelsea a long time. He's coming up against Arteta, who's now had over 2 years with that Arsenal team. Like, he's coming up against teams who are more prepared than him at the moment. And
against Patrick Vieira, who's just joined management.
Yeah, Vieira first of all hasn't just joined management, but it was 0-0 up until the red card. You know what I mean? So, like, who knows what would have happened?
It might have been 0-0 up until the red card, but they were battering us.
I wouldn't say battering us. I would say they were the better team. They were the better team, not battering us. They were the better team.
Battering us.
I think
They were the better team, but it was still 0-0. And they didn't really create anything, so it was still 0-0. So, like, who knows what would have happened without the red card? Who knows? I'm not saying we would have won. I'm just saying who knows. So, like, we just got to not call for his head after 6 games when he's won 3 of them. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's easy to point at how bad we've been and say, well, it's obviously going to continue like this because he has no plan. I think it's just way too easy to say that.
Also, when Poch first came, yeah, fine, it might not have gone all his way, but we were never alarmingly this bad in all the stats, like bottom for this, bottom for that, bottom for this.
How do you know that?
I'm assuming that.
We don't know that. Well, I didn't look at these stats, like all this kind of stats compilation back when Pochettino was first managing wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. Now it is. Now everyone zooms in on it. I don't know what our stats were when Pochettino first came. I can guarantee you we weren't top for running, and up until we started changing it, like we're bottom now. Like I'm assuming as well, like we are attacking. Like it was same with Poch. We won our first couple games. We beat West Ham 1-0 on the opening day of the season, like with a lucky win. And then it started to go wrong, and then he started to figure.
Did we win 4-0 the next game?
We beat QPR 4-0. Yeah.
No, I mean, we haven't
against a relegated QPR.
We've hardly created 4 chances this season. Never mind winning 4-0.
Yeah, but whatever. We haven't played anyone as bad as QPR. Maybe. I don't think. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think it's a bit too much to say he needs to go already.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is a bit too soon to say he needs to go. But it is extremely concerning.
Connor, it is too soon to say he needs to go, but like you say, the alarm bells are there. The alarm bells are there, and like, if we do, the hypothetical situation, yeah, it is a hypothetical situation, but it's not so far beyond the realms of possibility that going out and losing to Aston Villa, going out and losing to West Ham, and not even beating Newcastle, it's not beyond all realms of possibility, is it? And then what?
It's not realms of possibility we win those games. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's not beyond the realms of possibility either. It isn't. It's not.
When you're looking at it right now, do you have faith we go and win those games?
I reckon we can beat Villa, yeah.
You actually think we're going to go out and win this weekend?
Why not?
Why not? Because Villa have turned a corner. They've just beaten Man U at Old Trafford.
Leon Bailey's injured. Yeah, I know. Look, they're a good team, but we can beat them. Why can't we beat them? They're not some insurmountable team who are unbeatable now because they won at Old Trafford. Like we can win there. We can beat Aston Villa. Well, I have faith we can beat Villa. I'm not saying we definitely will, but I'm saying there's no doubt in my mind we'll definitely.
You're telling me, hand on heart, you're saying you're confident we're going to win this weekend?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Why not?
You're confident we're going to win this weekend?
We have great players, and if
we do have great players,
and if he can figure it out, why can't we win this weekend? It's really like we're playing Aston Villa. We're not playing Chelsea. We're not playing one of these unbelievable teams. We're playing Aston Villa. We can beat Aston Villa.
Just got battered 3-0 by Crystal Palace
when we were down to 10 men. Yeah.
I do think we have the capabilities to beat Villa.
Of course we do.
And we should be beating Villa. Villa is a fixture we should be looking at and thinking 3 points on the board. But as it stands, I wouldn't be confident going into the game this weekend.
I agree.
Villa have just, even that penalty save at Old Trafford, their tails will really be up, and they'll be up for that game, and they would have seen how poor we were. And I can see Villa coming out the game looking to press and be aggressive and be first to the ball, win their individual battles, try and win the 50-50s, a bit like how Palace were playing against us, and we're immediately under pressure, and then we fall back into the slope of kind of being responsive rather than proactive,
For me, look, I don't disagree with you. If we play the same team as we played against Arsenal and the same tactics, then obviously we're not going to win. But we put Romero in there, we put Skip in there, add a bit of steel, add a bit of fight, add a bit of aggression. With the quality we have in the front line, if we can be solid in the centre and then get the ball to our players at the front line, there's no reason we can't win. And if Nuno can get that right, I don't think it's that ridiculous to say we could beat Villa on Sunday. I really don't. Obviously, we've been shy. I'm not denying that, but doesn't mean each game. Like, you don't always just. Sometimes teams can surprise you, or sometimes teams can figure out and turn it around on the training ground and implement a plan. And there's no reason why Nuno can't do that on Sunday against Villa. I don't see why not.
You're right. You are right, and we can hope for the best, and we hope that there's lessons learned. But I'm growing very, very frustrated at how many times have we heard the same players come out and say we need to learn lessons. And
That's
how
true.
many, and you know, it's the same thing, and we're all growing very frustrated at it. You know, we thought after the Palace game, let's turn a corner against Chelsea. And to be fair, you know, we can give Chelsea a bit of a pass because of how good they are. And the first half against Chelsea was very impressive. It was good. That's the sort of football we wanted to see. That's how we were playing, how we want to see us play against Chelsea in the first half. But the second half really undone all of that good work, really. And then, you know, we lose that game 3-0, so that's 2 consecutive 3-0 losses, and we think, right, now the players have learnt the lesson from the second half against Chelsea, let's turn the corner, let's learn the lessons, as I say, and then go and turn up against Arsenal, and it couldn't have gone any worse.
Literally couldn't have gone any worse.
So you know, that's now 2 games where lessons could have been learnt. Positive vibes could have tried to get going midweek, but they didn't. So I would just be concerned that this happens again. And the reason why I might say Levy should be looking at other options apart from Nuno is because the season's still very young. It's still salvageable. And we can see these warning signs. We can see it isn't working. So it's either a case where you've got 2 situations. You'd likely look to moving on now and try and make something of the season, or you give them a bit more time and it doesn't work. We leave it for another.
Connor, what happens if we sack Nuno, we bring a new manager, and he loses his first 3 games? Do we sack him again? Do we sack another one? Because he's clearly not working with that new manager who lost their first 3 games. Like, do we keep doing that until we find a manager? You know what I mean? You can't just. I think it's ridiculous. I really do.
Well, you can't do that because of the finances. But it's not. You know, at the end of the day, it's not just about the final results. You look to see how the team is actually playing on the pitch. And on that Palace game, it was 0-0, as you say, before the red card. But how we were playing was not good. And
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that.
I do feel you're right. You can't just sack a manager and then bring him in if he doesn't win the first 3 games or do well in the first few games. You don't just go on a continuous cycle and rinse and repeat. But you look to see for positive signs. And at the moment, I saw no positive signs against Arsenal. This is a North London derby.
Yeah.
I know. Look, as much as Connor, as much as it's going to be hard to hear, and it's going to be, it's not. People might call me crazy, but the second half we were better against Arsenal, and we got the goal. We got a goal. We could even be 3-3. I know we didn't deserve 3-3, but it actually could have been in the end with the chances we had.
We had the chances, but is that just because Arsenal sat back?
Maybe.
And they realised they already had the game won?
The damage was done.
Maybe. The damage was done. I don't disagree with you, Ben. I don't disagree the damage was done, but I'm saying you don't see any positive signs against Arsenal. I'm just saying the second half we were better. I know we did not want to hear that after a 3-1 defeat against Arsenal, where we were absolutely so bad in the first half that you want to kill yourself. But that's just how. That's when you're looking for positives. That's what you got to cling on to. Second half we were better. We actually did get back in the game in a way. Get back in the game with Ollie Skip. We earned, Brian Hill in the team. We got a goal where Lucas hit the bar. Could have had a penalty. Kane had a good chance as well where he could have scored. Actually, could have been 3-0 in the end if we would have taken some of the chances. So I'm not saying we deserve 3-0 or anything. We deserve absolute zilch out of that game. But when you're asking me, did I see any positives? I saw like a tiny one in that second half. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is a positive, but we'd expect that as a mere basic. We always want the players to try their hardest and try and create chances. Like I feel what happened in the second half was basic. I feel like the second half lacked so much of the basics. It made the second half look better than what it actually was.
I think that's what it's come down to as Spurs fans now. We're seeing like when Spurs just do like the normal things and just try on a football pitch. We're calling that a positive. That should be a given.
Yeah.
That should be a given. I'm sorry, that second half was not positive. That second half was better than the first half. It doesn't mean it was positive because that first half was that bad.
I think so. I think that the second half did look better because of how poor the first half was.
So better is not positive.
It's positive in terms of what it was in the first half, but
There you go.
it wasn't positive in terms of the grand scheme of things, in terms of how we want to be. It's positive in terms of how bad we were in that first half. But if we were like that second half, was still not good enough. Still not good enough.
If we would have played like the first half, second half like we did in the first half,
We don't know because we don't know how Arsenal would have been. Arsenal were 3-0 up and they sat back.
they didn't sit back. Actually, I didn't think they sat back. They sat back near the end, like 20 minutes to go. But I actually think for majority of the second half, they didn't sit back up until late in the game.
Connor?
It's tough to say. Like I always try and look at positives where positives are there, and it's always good to look at things from all avenues and be quite collective in the way we analyze things and try not to be too reactionary. I do believe from even the games that we won for the first 3 games of the season, there were worrying signs in those games. I think when you even look at the stats that were shown mid-game against Arsenal on Sky Sports, we're bottom of the league for chances created. I think it's second bottom for distance covered, and I think that says a lot more than some may realise. Distance covered basically reiterates effort. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
If you're covering the least amount of ground in the league, you're putting the least amount of effort in the league in comparison to other teams. And in the games that we've had so far, 2 London derbies that are massive games, and we're not covering a lot of ground in those games. The effort isn't there, and I just feel Nuno and the players are on different wavelengths.
Yeah.
And then what Nuno was saying at the end of the game on the Sky Sports on the interview, he said the players weren't reacting to his game plan. Like, that's huge. That's a massive concern. If they're not reacting,
Jose said the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It is a concern. It's a massive concern.
And even the games we won, I mean, you think about the Watford game, we won from a fairly lucky free kick from Son. The Wolves game, we were very lucky to come out of that game with a win. It could have been a defeat, let alone a draw. The City game, I think a lot has to be said for us fans and how we really pushed the team on that day. It was absolutely crazy. That atmosphere was incredible, and I think that's more credit to the players. I think the players really turned up, like the likes of Tanganga. It was such a huge day for him. He did so well against City, and I think, you know, the Conference League games, you'd expect us to win them anyway.
Yeah.
But there is positives there, but I think at the moment the negatives far outweigh the positives.
Yeah.
And
I don't deny that. Of course that's true. But it's still so early on. Like, you can't. I still think it's way too early. It's way too early.
it is early. Like, in the grand scheme of things, we've played only 6 games in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's very early to turn around and sack a manager when he's only just been brought in.
I understand if Nuno was here last year and it was similar, and then he started this season in this fashion, then you would say, okay, time to get rid. But these are literally his first 6 games. Like, he can't. I understand he's got a lot wrong, but I still need to give him a chance to try and get it right.
Yeah. I think you are right. I should probably take back that. I think it's time for him to go. I think the more I'm discussing it with you now, I'm maybe realising it's a little bit too soon. But I think it is very worrying, and I think if we haven't got 3 points between Aston Villa and Newcastle, I think it might be time for Levy to really start thinking about a change.
All right, Connor.
Fine, nice one, Connor. Nice to chat to you, my friend.
Great call, mate. Great call.
Yeah.
And we shall speak to you soon, mate.
Yeah, talk to you later. Love the content, boys. Keep it
Cheers,
up.
mate.
Connor.
Up the Spurs. Come on.
Come on.
Oof.
That's it. A few super chats here. Anna Hill Dawes saying we need to realise Nuno was 6th choice. So what do we expect? I've never been a reactionary fan, but we need to cut our losses now.
So you want to go with our 7th choice? I don't understand.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I think it is. We can't sack him now. We just can't. It's not an option.
No.
It's not an option. But if we do, if things don't change very quickly, if things don't change within the next 3-4 games, then Levy will start thinking about it. He will. Fraser Porter says, why is no one talking about Reguilon and how poor he's been? It's been a season now and he's looked so poor at the simplest things. And
I actually think they had a good start to the season, and then obviously against Palace, he hasn't been good the last 3 games. But I actually think the first 3 games he was one of our best
defensively,
players.
yeah, he was all right.
I think he was one of our best players first 3
Going
games.
forward, not so much, but defensively. A lot of people are asking us to do a poll.
On what?
Do a poll, Nuno in or out poll.
Oh.
No, I'm not doing that. We can't be sacking. We can't sack a manager 6 games into the season.
It's way too early. It's just way too early.
You can't sack a manager, but definitely the warning signs are there right now. Craig W says, guys, more solid tactics. It's obvious, but a solid Prem player who are not 3 1 week and 8 the next. What? I.e. Ndombele.
Out of 10 he means.
Oh right, with quality up top.
That would help if they're all consistent.
No, I'm not. Everyone's asking why I'm not doing this poll. It's too toxic to do that poll right now. I mean, maybe in a month's time, if things are going still going the same, then
it's just
fine.
it's obvious after we get battered by Arsenal like that. You do a poll: is Nuno? You want Nuno sacked? Obviously, most people are going to say yes because that's just how people feel. You know, if you ask people before the Arsenal game, you wouldn't have said yes. I don't think.
And people saying I'm backtracking. I'm not backtracking at all. I'm still saying that the alarm signs are clearly still there. But I was talking about sacking him after the next 3 games if we lose. I'm not talking about sacking him now. Sacking him now is ludicrous. You can't sack a manager after 6 games. I'm sorry. But if we do lose the next 3 games convincingly, then Levy will think about it. He will. And he will panic. And we've seen it before. But anyway, let's bring Jory on. Jory, how's it going, my friend?
Hey guys, not
Hey, Jory.
any better than yesterday, I think.
Yeah, us as well.
yeah.
But where do you stand on the whole situation and what we've been talking about so far with Nuno?
So actually, I mean, the good news is I figured out what we need.
Lovely. Come on.
Yeah, so we need coach at the very highest level, like Pochettino, maybe even a Nuno in my view. And he needs to be tactically as good as a Mourinho or Pochettino or Tuchel or whatever. Then maybe we might be able to finish top 6, you know. That's basically what we need, you know, which is, you know, this is the situation that's created, like with this squad. You were having a little bit of a disagreement about, you know, Sim, you were saying we improved in the second half of the North London derby. Mm-hmm. We did improve, you know, but, you know, if you owe $100 and pay $50, and now you owe $50, you still owe money. You're still in the red, you know. And that was,
I don't doubt that, Jory.
Yeah,
I literally said it's the most tiny positive.
Exactly.
I said that.
And that positive came from 2 players that don't have the history, that don't have this long standing history with the club. As you know, it was Skip and it was Gil that brought in some life into the team, you know. So. But we should have learned as well there that Romero also might be up for it. You know, we need, like the priority should be now. If I can use a new player, I should do it rather than an old player. We need to push everybody out, and they need to fight their way back into it. Even a good player like Tanganga, he needs to fight for it with Royale, so on. We need to try and put as many of the new players up front and center stage, not because it's the best players, not because it might be the best tactical decision, but simply just to try and keep some kind of a semblance of a fighting spirit in the squad, which the old players don't do. And as much as I hate it, as much as I think it's shameful and all that, having been dragged through the mud with Levy again and again and again, and just in this whole Tottenham situations since Potts has gone out, and maybe even before that, you can't really blame. They are humans, so you can't really blame them for giving up all hope. You have to remember, we're watching the games, we're sitting eating our popcorn and drinking beers and screaming over the games. These guys, they work their ass off all week to then show up and maybe have to show up to something that they completely don't agree with. Whatever, I'm not trying to defend their behavior. They should just be the professionals that they're getting thousands and thousands of pounds for every day. But still, it will wear on them. It is imperative to get them out. If we can't get Levy out and Enoch out, we need some players that actually don't see through all the bullshit. We need some players that don't realize that their manager doesn't have full control of everything and so on. That can believe in the project. Because these players, to really, you can't blame them for not believing in yet another project.
Yeah, and Joran, if you remember, Danny Rose had that interview a few years ago, and he kind of even had from what he said, there was like an inkling. I'm pretty sure he said I'm not the only person in the dressing room who feels this way, kind of thing. No. He was the only one who said it publicly, and that may be all those thoughts and frustrations he had started to fester in the dressing room at that time, and that's one of the reasons why I started to go on. That's probably one of the reasons why the players who were still there from the Pochettino era are not as committed to the project as the newer players coming through, and that's I think that goes to your point, Jory, about these players getting sick and frustrated with how things are operating under Tottenham when they see other clubs, even clubs who were so far behind us before, like West Ham and clubs like that, overtaking us because we're just going so stale.
To that point, by the way, I mean both with Crystal Palace and West Ham and all kinds of clubs, they are improving while we're barely at our best. We're staying, we're treading water, So we should maybe give ourselves a little bit of a break in the terms of this. These are not the West Ham of 5 years ago, or these are extremely improved clubs. But it shows us also, hold on, these are a lot smaller organizations, and they can do it. Why are we not doing it? It's not about the money. It's about, something right with the whole organization. And that's what it comes down to every time. There's something really wrong with our organization, and we know what the root is, but it's always also interesting to kind of try and understand the finer details of that, And I think, for example, I do think that Kane, in some ways, is part of the problem. I love the guy, like everybody loves the guy. Now I know he's part of the problem, but I don't blame him. You can't do that. I would say, in terms of the whole thing this summer, even if it was stupid, naive, and so on of Kane to think of this whole gentleman's agreement, whatever, you are stupid, cynical, and destructive as a board chairman if you think you can take that naivety and use it to his detriment. If you think you can play a player like that and that will end up as a happy ending, you're an idiot. You're a douchebag and you're an idiot.
The only way it was going to work is if they kept Kane and proved to him that we are serious.
Yeah, well,
that was the only way it was going to work.
Yeah,
and now it's the opposite. It's done the opposite.
Yeah. So I do believe the happiest we could have made Kane, maybe not this summer, maybe he had given up completely this summer, But at least the summer before that, the happiest we could have made Kane was to back his level and back his ambition. But it's not only about Kane. Son is no lesser of a man than Kane, and Son is gonna overtake Kane now. Son should be our talisman now. Kane, like for me, it's also I don't blame Kane, but he should understand the level of destruction that he does to the squad when he kind of signs out, like he has done now. He has been our talisman. He is the leader in the club. The literal leader, Hugo Lloris, who wears the armband, is a joke to me. I think he's a joke. He's a all right goalkeeper, but he is an absolute awful captain. He doesn't even direct his defense, and he, like, the only time I see him, it's basically to kind of call out the other players. Doesn't take any blame on himself. He's been the captain of the team for many years, and we've never seen him take any control of the guys in front of him when they need it. I think he's yet another one of those that kind of runs away when it really comes down to it. He hides behind what's easy to hide behind. So there's I really I had a little bit of hope for it, because I saw a rise from Delhi. I saw a rise from Tanguy. I saw a rise from the players that I thought were going to be the most difficult to motivate. So I thought, okay, this is the Nuno that I suspected. Like, the coaching part, the man management part is amazing from Nuno. But Nuno, you need to be a tactical mastermind just to be a top 10 team with this squad. So, which is probably what we saw with Jose, with Mourinho. It's like he managed to get us much higher and involved even with the League Cup and that, and stuff that we otherwise wouldn't have been involved with, because he had so much tactically to play on, and I think we're going to see Lamela be a success in Spain. We're going to see Mourinho be a success in Italy. It's going to be like this always, So
yeah, that's about it. For you, Jory, would you consider getting rid of Nuno just yet?
No, but not at all. But I do understand. I think some people. I think, Ben, maybe what you're trying to get at is like, we know that it's not going to work out. So maybe. So like I, as much as I was full on Nuno in and positive, and I really do like Nuno. I do see that with this club, with this situation, with whatever happened before that Arsenal game, I'm convinced something kind of messed up what the original plan was, or the original squad selection or whatever. You need to be tactically amazing to get anything that's above top 10. So, and I do not think, I've never thought that about Nuno. I don't think he's tactically amazing or whatever, but I thought it was all right to just get these guys motivated, find one system that worked nice and just run on that, because I thought we have killer strikers or killer goal scorers. We have a lot of speed. If we now just can make a solid midfield and a solid defense, it will be okay to hold us over till next summer, get some more new players in, and so on. We would build from that. Now I'm not so sure. I'm not sure we can even kind of like keep the status quo as it is, because there's interference. I see it, and it's very disappointing in terms of Paratici as well, because Paratici should be that buffer between the manager and Levy, and I don't think there is a buffer.
Jory, did you see Jamie Carragher's tactical analysis on Tottenham yesterday?
No, I didn't. I would love to see it, by the way.
Yeah, if you go on the Sky Sports Sky Sports YouTube channel, you see it. But
Yeah.
he was literally showing how when Spurs were on the ball, like when Dyer and Sanchez had the ball, there was absolutely zero players in midfield. He literally had Ndombele and Dele up front, and we were playing long ball to them. And basically, Arsenal win the ball. There'll be no one to win the second ball because Dele and Ndombele are ahead of the ball, and then Arsenal will pretty much be on our back four all the time. So for you, is that what's the issue with that? Like, is he going too attacking? Is it a horrific tactical move? Or
for me, for me, there's no way I can square that circle. You know, there's no way it makes sense in my head. I don't believe. Listen, like, we have bad managers here and there. I thought that Teta was among the worst, and still do, but we made him look amazing. I don't think Nuno is among the worst. I don't think tactically he's brilliant or anything, but this is beyond anything. You shouldn't even be able to have your license and be settled with this kind of a system. You know, if you can call it a system. Something was being executed completely different. Probably the plan had to be changed the last minute or whatever, or the squad selection. And I think also it's insanity of this club to think that they can do this in a North London derby and not come out with a real explanation. You know, Nuno, you should just put your job on the line. You need to explain this. Some players should put themselves on the line. Kane, man up, for fuck's sake. You're a little bit of a chicken shit, to be honest. You need to grow up here now. Levy's not your friend, you know that. So just go at it now, you know. Let's get some understanding of what's going on, because it looks to us, all of us, like you absolutely don't give a shit. All 11 players on the field, you know, and that's not good enough. That's not something we can accept, you know. So I think, I don't know about like, for me, that whole thing is just like as mysterious as a UFO, you know. It doesn't make
what
sense.
What the thinking behind it, God only knows.
That's
the truth.
Yeah.
Made no sense.
And like, it even seems like, you know, I might believe it if it was a Pep or something. It might be something like that was overcomplicated, overthought, whatever, or Tuchel or something. Then I might kind of struggle to try and explain it in a tactical sense. But I just think there was a system there, and it didn't get executed for whatever reason. And that left that huge hole in our midfield. And also, like, for the life of me, I don't understand why Romero wasn't on there. Like, Romero was the guy we should have had that. So like it's a cliche now with bringing it back to the board. I wish I could like find like closer to home explanations, just something we need to fix with 2 players or something like that. But that's not it, really. You know, we see when we get something that we like the looks of, it's changed for whatever reason. You know, it's happened last season as well. You know, when we were really happy about, like, when I was the happiest with like Mora in the 10 role and all that. The high press came back. You know, we need since Mourinho couldn't figure out a way to counter all these high pressing teams, then we just need to go back to being the high press. We used to be the best at that stuff, you know. We just need to be there. We need to run more than everybody, press high, you know, and okay, we'll concede quite a few goals, but we've traditionally, and we still do have enough killers up front to outscore our opponents. So we just need to get back to that. At least that we know what is, you know. So
all right, Jory,
always great to chat to you, my friend. Always great to chat to you.
Likewise, guys.
And we shall speak soon.
All right, Enoch out.
Enoch out. That's
as
it.
always. Come on.
The thing is with Nuno and, you know, like calling for his head in 3-4 weeks, I mean, ultimately, would anything ever change anyway under this leadership? Is there any point even talking about it?
No, that's the truth. It just won't. We've got this rinse and repeat for too long now. They got they literally had the Pochettino era. What else has Levy had in his 20 years? That's it. And he screwed that up big time. Yeah, well, let's be honest. That was like, well, he had to sack Maignan and bring in Ramos for that, and then he ended up sacking Ramos not so long after that, after a disastrous league campaign. So,
anything good he's had, he's always sacked the manager a few months later. Literally,
it's just like it's rinse and repeat. We thought the only time I ever thought, okay, he's doing a good job was when we had Poch, and I was like, oh, well, look at us. We're not spending much yet. We're doing really well. And I was like, okay, this is a vision. And then he screwed it so badly, and it's gone from bad to worse pretty much ever since that sacking. And before that,
worse.
And we know before Pochettino, everyone was angry at him because he was just firing managers left, right, and centre, gave every decision wrong under the sun. And it now just seems like that Pochettino era was massive slice of luck, pretty much. That's all it seems like.
And when you look at it, look at our recruitment at the time. Look at the players we brought in. Look at the money we actually spent on these players: Rose, Walker, Vertonghen, Toby, Wanyama, Dembele, Son, Eriksen. You know, all these players compared to like the money that we're actually spending now were pennies. Yeah. Absolute pennies. And like for some reason he's stroke lucky with those players that come in good, right? And then like the players that he's actually brought in and actually pushed the boat out, they've all failed. Every single one of them has failed. Soldado, Lamela, Janssen, you know what I mean? All these players that we spent big money on, Paulinho. How many? The list is endless, really.
David Bentley, Darren Bent.
You know what I mean? So anyway, let's bring on Brian Daigle. How's it going, Brian?
All good, boys. Yourself?
Yeah, all
nice
good.
Nice to see you, Brian.
Nice of you to unmute yourself before talking this time.
That's rare.
Yeah, I keep doing it. Well, I keep with Rendezvous. I keep forgetting I'm on mute or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah. So yeah, but how are you, boys?
Yeah, trying to get through it, going through the motions. How are you?
I'm good. I woke up to see the lovely news, or at least a statement from the trust. Obviously, I did a big piece on David Harrison's show last night, or early hours of the morning, discussing the new group that I shared with you guys about change for Spurs.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's good to see that we've had a statement from them. Now we just see what happens afterwards. Let's hope it's not the normal. We've done something and now be quiet whilst we've done something and then nothing happens.
Yeah, but Brian, come on. Realistically, what is going to come out of that meeting?
Listen, with the trust, I like the club. I don't trust the trust, if that's even possible. But at least it's something. At least whether it's with the change for Spurs or the to Darius to do group or just Spurs fans in general that have had enough of this parasite. They've acted. Something's happening, but obviously, is it just another let's do this to keep people quiet? Well, if it is that. Well, if it is that, they're going to get a rude awakening come the Villa game, the 10th and the 17th of October.
Yeah, I mean, even so, like nothing's going to come out before these games anyway, are they? So
yeah,
let's be honest.
I wouldn't expect. I mean, the Villa game, as I said, we're not expecting. I don't know what the numbers will be because it's been very short and after the Arsenal debacle, but we shall see. But listen, every journey of 1,000 steps or 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And the first step has been taken, so it's positive. That's the positive we've got to take. And the guys that changed the Spurs have put out something as well, saying we're delighted. You know, we're trying to do this peacefully. And there was a huge statement that I read out on the Irish Hotspur show yesterday, and it's on the Change for Spurs Twitter handle, so you can find it all there. So it's a start. Listen, if we don't try, we don't know, so we are all here willing to try.
You've been hearing what we've been talking about for the majority of the show about Nuno and tactics and all that kind of stuff. What's your kind of take on it all?
Well, again, it goes back to him. Mate, I honestly think we could get Jurgen Klopp and Pep as his assistant and nothing will change. Nothing will change because it's the same thing over and over again. listen, there's no doubt that Nuno is. I mean, when you look at, like you said, Jamie Carragher's analysis yesterday, and when you saw the freeze frames and where the midfield three were, and then when I was just watching the game last night and I saw Jamie Carragher's statement saying there was more space on the moon than there was between the Spurs midfield. Oh, sorry, more space in our midfield than was on the moon. It just summed it up. The performance was terrible. The formation was terrible. And again, we don't have the squad in depth. They don't know what they're doing. Players look disheartened, and it's just hire a manager, don't invest, sack, repeat, and it keeps going on and on and on. And it's a shame that it's coming to this now. But these 3 London performances have just been unacceptable.
But what's your opinion on Nuno in general?
So Nuno, you know what? I don't like his press conferences at all. I think they're awful. Literally, we need to work. We need to work. It looks like the first couple when he started at Tottenham, it looked like he was getting better, and now I think with everything that's going on, he's going backwards. Listen, I want him to succeed. We all want, whether you're Edic in or Edic out, everyone wants Tottenham to succeed. That's the bottom line. Yeah. But when it comes to Nuno, I don't know what he can do. He's not been backed with what he wanted. And it's just a case of how long does this carry on? We've got another international break coming up. He can't play under Dembele and Dele ever again. Like at the same time. There's just no options. There's like 11 players that on their day can play great, but the squad in depth is awful.
Yeah, I get that, but we're talking about Nuno's tactics here, and
listen. The one thing I will say about Nuno, which I just don't get it, when you've got the best striker in the world, and he's been the best striker in the world for a long time, playing in a 1 up top by himself, why play him in a 3? Why that? I mean, it blows my mind. I think it was Harry Redknapp or Terry Reynolds said, "Listen, football's easy. Play 11 players in their best positions." And there you go. And I don't understand why we're trying a 4-3-3 when we know Kane needs to be up top. You know he needs to be up top by himself. Now, listen, I've spoken quite openly about my feelings for Kane recently. I was very vocal when we were at Chelsea. Mm-hmm. But he's got to play in his right position. He has to play up top by himself. And then if he does what he's been doing, then obviously we can really, really question his commitment and attitude. But he does not work in a 3 and never will work in a 3. So that you
mean like out on the left? You mean, or what do you mean?
I mean, like when we had him with Poch, or when we had even Mourinho, we played with him up top by himself, but he dropped deep and some ran forward. It was never him as part of a front 3. It's never been him as part of a front 2. It's been him up top by himself. And then you look at 30 goals, 25 goals, and all the others that he's got. And now we're like, let's play you in a 3. You've never done it. You don't play there. We're going to do this for you. And it's not making any sense. Not making any sense at all to me.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you think how much do you think Nuno can go with how we're playing at the moment? Do you think he's in very serious danger of being sacked?
I hope he isn't. I hope he isn't for a couple of reasons. First of all, who the hell comes in, and who the hell's going to want to come in? Let's be serious. You're looking at people like Eddie Howe, who's out of a job, and maybe people will say, "Oh, maybe bring Harry back," or Jurgen. And I don't want Jurgen Klinsmann back. I love the man as a player. I was up for his first season. I pretty much was at every single game. It's the year before I actually had my season ticket, but I got to go and watch Jurgen pretty much every week. And it was a joy to see. But I hate ex-legends turning up to be managers because it can taint their reputation. You look at Glenn Hoddle, as a player, you can't touch him. But as a manager, there's always that little, and I don't want that happening to someone like ex-legends. But who comes in? And then secondly, how can you play with him? He hasn't got the players he wants. He hasn't had a fully fit squad for a couple of weeks to train with them constantly and say, right now, this is how we play. But the main part of it is who the hell do we bring in? Who the hell? If it took 10 managers to get replaced, or the 10th choice to get Jose's replacement, God knows what we'll need for this one. Another 75 days? Mason?
That's the thing, yeah. That's the thing. It's ridiculous. Who knows how long it will take us to and who to appoint, who's available, who we can get. Just this mystery, absolute mystery.
Exactly. We like everyone said. Listen, again, I go back to whether you're Levy in or Levy out, and I think we know where I stand on this one. It does not matter. We all want success for the club. That's all we want at the bottom line. I want my club back at N17. There's a big stadium there, but I don't know who's there. It's literally we've got to the point I don't recognise my club anymore, both on the pitch and off the pitch, and that is not what any of us wanted.
Yeah,
All right,
completely
Brian.
agree. Brian, always a pleasure, my friend.
Always a
a
pleasure.
pleasure.
Ben, I'll speak to you later on tonight about what we're speaking about yesterday, and always love you guys. Everyone big up the channel because this channel is the mothership and they are constantly fighting the battle on everything for us. So, yeah, you keep up the great work and I will sign off as I always do. Levy out.
Out. That's what I like to hear, Brian. Big up, Brian. And let's go to our next guest, which is Sylvester. Sylvester, I can almost see myself in your glasses. I'm joking. It's fine. You can keep them on. You can keep them on. It's fine. How you doing?
Good. I've taken 24 hours to recover.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't recovered. I mean,
Yeah, not after that first half.
I mean, we've been speaking a lot about Nuno today. I don't know if you've been hearing all the debates and all the conversations that's been going on. Where do you stand on it all right now? Is it too early to sack Nuno? Is it too early to even think about sacking Nuno?
I don't think so. It's his fault in one way. I just blame the players on the pitch over there. I've seen the Hill Wolves team playing and they would play excellent football, working together as a team. This team doesn't have those players. He doesn't have. I think Lucas Moura came out and said it. We were not brave enough to ask for the ball, and none of the players were scared. I told you it was a mentality problem. Or going into on the preview when we spoke, every time we go to the Emirates, and I remember you telling me about Dali Ali. I think this is a new time. We got patience. There's no more patience with Dali Ali.
I completely agree.
He's no more. He's not a player. He's never going to be the player again. That same player. We should have sold him last summer or either this summer. We should have got rid of him.
Would you look to try ship him out in January?
Eric Lamela would have put in a better shift than any of those midfielders on Sunday, and that's true.
Yeah.
Sylvester, when you
disagree with that.
when you see, I don't know if you've seen the clips coming out yesterday and of our midfield, how far forward they were and how there was no one in the centre when we had the ball and all that kind of stuff. Was that a player problem not hiding, or was that a tactical problem with the positioning of the players? Because it seemed deliberate. It didn't seem like a thing where the players didn't know where they were standing. I think they to me it looked like they knew exactly where they were standing, and it seemed deliberate.
No manager no current football manager, I think, would ever leave a midfield like that. This is all on the players. For me, it's every one bit of it is on the players. No manager would ever leave that midfield so open. And I just feel that even Højbjerg, his performances have gone down this season. It's come down. And I don't know if you've seen that clip where Højbjerg misses someone gets, I think it was for the second or the third goal. No, second goal, I guess it was. Where he gets spun and he just stops running. He just keeps jogging back slowly till he realizes it's too late. Did you see that clip?
I don't know about that clip. I saw the clip for the first goal where he just seemed to be jogging around, and
yeah.
It was very strange.
Exactly, that's what I mean. The problem is Højbjerg is now seeing Dali Ali doing the same thing. He's seeing other players doing the same thing and still getting to the team. His own dedication is died down now. You can only be dedicated as much. You cannot keep pushing and see other players just taking a stroll in the park. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I felt like we needed. Højbjerg was looking great at the beginning of the season when he was playing that role he plays for Denmark. Not quite at the base of a midfield three, but more as a box-to-box kind of number 8, someone a bit of more license to go forward, but also working very hard for the team, alongside Skip, who was more at the base of a 3. Then you got a more creative player with Ndombele and Dele. And that was, I think we saw the best of Højbjerg there. But when he has, I think we had this problem as well last season, when he has too much defensive responsibility all on him and he doesn't have much help, then his performances do seem to drop. And it happened again on Sunday, didn't it?
Exactly. And why didn't Skip start on Sunday? Oliver Skip should have started on Sunday.
Yeah.
He should have started. He and Brian Gill, after he came on, he really put in a shift. Even for the goal, he made sure to take the ball back and make the ball for regular and to put it in. I don't blame Nuno at all, because I'm sure you guys must have watched his Wolves team playing, and they had a system which they followed, they played, and I think Nuno's best preferred system is a back three. I think the pressure from the board of director on playing on a back four, attacking football, I don't think so. It's suited to his style.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, we brought up some clips. There was a tweet yesterday showing 4 different screenshots, and yeah, albeit it could be just random screenshots, and maybe you can find these screenshots in any game, but we saw a similar pattern with his Valencia team, with his Porto team, with his Wolves team, and with his Tottenham team now, where there's just no players in between the defence and the attack. There's just no midfield.
I get what you're saying, Ben, but what my point is, the, any team can have a bad day, right? Anyone can have a bad day. And I watched Wolves for 2.5 years. They had very few bad days. It was towards the end when, I guess maybe you could say, the players were tired of his system or something. But they always gave 100% on the pitch, fought for him, gave it the all, came out there not leaving anything. Our players really look like they have done nothing on the field. Even Son, people are talking about Harry Kane. Let's give the boy the credit. At least he ran that ball back and tried to make a tackle for it.
Yeah.
It may have ricocheted and gone to Saka. That was a good fortune, but he went in for the tackle. He put himself over there to try and slide and try to make the recover for it. There are none of them in this team. Their mentality is gone. Dali Ali, I just can't stand him in that team anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. It's hard to disagree because what does he actually add? What does he actually add to this team?
Nothing. I tell you, if you give what was that midfielder from our academy who was playing during the preseason? There was a midfielder guy.
What preseason? Niall John.
Niall John, right? That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would put in more of a shit and be more valuable than Dali Ali's right now.
See, I disagree with that one because, he came on, Niall John came in with Passos in the Passos game in the first leg, and he looked completely out of his depth in that game.
No, I get what you mean. That was a big game. First time he's going into a Europa League game. That nerves are there. He started the preseason well. If you give him time to move on, Dali Ali's been there for 5-6 years. He's still the same. He's still, the last 3 years, the performances have just been as good as the others. We need to give our youngsters time. You see Jurgen Klopp giving Curtis Jones, the other guy who just recently got injured, Harvey Elliott. What was his name? Harvey Elliott, right?
Harvey Elliott, yeah.
You've got to give them chance. They'll make a few mistakes, but they will come alive.
I take that, but these 2 players you're talking about from Liverpool are miles ahead of Niall John right now. They're miles ahead of Niall John.
Harvey Elliott had a lot of game time in the Championship and whatnot, didn't he?
Yeah.
I get you. Even Dane Scarlett needs to be given a good run in. He needs to start at least playing 10 minutes here or 15 minutes there. Otherwise, I just feel Nuno has too much pressure from the board of directors right now.
That's a difficult one.
That's a new one, yeah.
I mean, who doesn't have pressure from this board? This board put this club under pressure every single day they're in existence. I mean, It's a hard one to work around. Because, yes, Nuno's tactics aren't great. Yes, the players aren't putting as much of a shift in as they should be. And yes, the board are failing us. So, I mean, which way do you want to go?
I believe a trust has sent a letter to the club, right? The trust.
Yeah, they've requested a meeting.
So you're hoping for a good outcome from it?
Not really. I mean,
I don't expect. I expect the club to say, it was very early on, and with Nuno's trying to play attractive football, but it's going to take time, and all. I just expect them unless the club say, look, we tried to get all these different managers. None of them wanted to come because of a shit show we've created, and we ended up settling for Nuno because he was the only manager free, and wanting to come. And we don't really have a long-term vision because he wasn't exactly the manager we wanted. And now we're stuck in a situation where he's a stopgap manager until we get something better. Unless they say that, they're just lying to our faces. So they're not going to say that. So I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
And just to end up, people were crying out 2 games ago about Ndombele needs to play. I was myself. He needs to play. But then if you put in a performance like that, what can we expect? Everyone blamed Jose for not playing Ndombele, not playing Dali. People were getting on his back. Bring Dali back. Why is Dali on the bench?
Again with Dele, everyone gets fooled by his pre-season. He's working hard, blah blah blah. action, man. I want to see
thing is-
action speak louder than words.
The thing is with Delhi, right? The thing is with Delhi, as opposed to last season, from what I saw, from what I'm seeing this season, you can see a man working hard on the pitch. You actually can, apart from maybe the Arsenal game aside. But previous games, I can actually see someone that's working hard on the pitch, but that has no quality about him whatsoever. That's what I see with Dele Alli. I actually see someone working now, as opposed to last couple of years, I didn't see him working.
You can do all the running around, but there has to be some end product in your game, right?
Exactly.
You can't just keep running around and trying to defend. If you're an attacking player, you're bought to score goals, assists for us. You just keep running around defending, and then when you get the ball, you slow down the attack. You move very slowly. You don't make a fast pass. So it's very frustrating right now. I'm very disappointed. Do you think if we lose to Aston Villa, he goes?
Depending, well, if we get absolutely battered, then maybe, but I don't think so. I think if it's like a defeat where you see some positives, I think he will still be here.
For me, it's all about the manner of the defeat. I mean,
Did you-
anyone can lose a game, but it's the manner in which we're losing games right now.
And did you watch the full game that day?
Sorry,
Did you watch the whole game
which game?
at the Emirates?
We were there, yeah. Oh, you saying did we leave early?
Yeah.
We left maybe a minute early. Like we left on like 94 or something when it was 95.
Because I saw many of the spectators were leaving early. Many of
Yeah, a lot of people. Some people left at half time. I saw.
It was hard, right?
When
was
you're
very
3-0
hard.
down, and we weren't just 3-0 down. We were just all over the place that whole game, that whole first half. It was hard to. I could understand people just saying, "I'm off, mate. Not worth my time." This, and the Arsenal fans goading you, and they're just chanting all Tottenham songs. Like it's hard to stay there.
Expressions not been seen anywhere.
Expressions, I don't know about that.
He didn't go to the
didn't
game.
go.
He didn't go to
No,
the
he
game.
didn't go. He's not even coming. He's right now. AFTV is taking his trip big time. I feel bad for him right now.
Yeah, I saw that. But
Very sad. Whatever.
sad.
We'll see this out.
yeah, let's hope so. But
Let's hope
Sylvester, always great having
Great
you
to
on,
chat
my
to you,
friend.
mate.
And
You too,
we
brother.
shall speak to you soon.
Take care. God bless.
Super chat here from Rish saying, "What's the bet? We will get some training videos of everyone laughing and having fun on the Spurs channel. Train hard, work hard. Our team is complacent."
Yeah, we're gonna get some social media or Spurs players reacting to mean tweets or something, and then. Although one thing I don't know. Maybe we can have a bit of a discussion about this. Like how Bruno did that apology on social media after missing that penalty.
Haven't seen it now.
So he missed a penalty against
Yeah, I saw the
Villa.
penalty. Yeah,
and after the game he did some big social media apology about it. I'm so sorry. I will always try my best for the team. Didn't mean to miss the penalty, basically. Like, do you think Spurs players could have done with doing something like that, or do you think it's
Yes.
pointless?
I don't look. I think Bruno's situation, I think it's a bit pointless because I think that he's a player that's committed to the cause of Manchester United. Fair enough, he missed a penalty. Anyone can miss a penalty, right? It's just a penalty.
Well, the way he missed it, though. But
I know that. I know that. I know that. But
target
he
more than
scored
that.
literally every single other penalty he's taken for
Yeah.
Man United. So it's a one-off. It's literally a one-off. These Spurs players are putting in insipid performances, looking like they're not playing more often than they're not. So I think it takes more. They should be doing it a lot more than bloody Bruno should be, and I think it takes a big man to do that. And Lucas Moura has come out and he said like, "Oh, it's not been good enough," and like stuff like that. But
Lloris, actually, there's some quotes here from Lloris. He says he was speaking to London Evening Standard today, and he said, "For any new manager, it's not easy to change everything in one or two months. It's impossible. But he brings his ideas, and step by step, he's building a relationship with the players. Clearly, we are starting something new. The idea is that it's a new process, a new era with young players. It can't happen in just 2 or 3 months. We need time. We need confidence. We need to stick together. Managers, the coaching staff, medical staff, players, and try to go in the same way. This is important This is an important thing to try and make sure everyone is going in the same way. I think we will have a better view of where we are in a few months' time. When I see the club going for young, talented players, they are here for many years. They need to adapt to new football, the Premier League, new language, new culture. But at the same time, the ambition is still here. Maybe they don't look like it right now, but maybe they will be looking like it in the next seasons." sometimes it's better to drop one step to come back stronger, and that's maybe my feeling today. It doesn't mean we're not ambitious, it's just a process. As a team, you need to build something and then arrive at a certain maturity to compete with the best, and at the moment we're in a process. Lloris last season, when Jose Mourinho was critical on unity, added, you need togetherness, it's really important. The most important is to feel the confidence around you, and to be honest, the players are, and I can feel it, or I can see it or feel it. We try to deliver our best, and there are just some points we need to improve. And Lloris has called for Ndombele to assume more responsibility in the dressing room on the pitch, but he says no doubt the Maverick midfielder will come good. Tongi needs games, repetition of games, he said. He needs to try to feel this responsibility, because he's not a young player anymore, and a player with talent and quality must feel responsibility inside the changing room and the team. Honestly, I think he is ready. His mind is ready. He's here with a smile, he's connected with the team, and that's the most important thing. Obviously, it's the manager's decision to play him or not, but I can feel his energy is back, and for sure, he's going to perform, and I have no doubt about that. With Tongi, the first season, because of the language, it was something frustrating with him not to be able to talk with others. Today, he's totally open, and he can talk and he can joke and share moments, and that's very important as a player to feel connected with the team. He goes on to say, when asked, they said the World Cup winning goalkeeper who joined Inter says he is yet to receive an offer from the club, but insists he still believes he can win a first trophy with Tottenham. There's nothing from the club. It's not a problem. I'm totally focused. We'll see later about that, but there's no issue at all. We know each other very well. To win a trophy is what I'm working every day for, but who knows? When you look at the club today compared with the past, the club is a fantastic place, but also there's a lot of clubs in the Premier League that are working very well and improving every season, and it makes the league more so competitive. Very interesting quotes on Tongi.
Yeah, the quotes on Tongi is the ones that interest me the most, and probably I can't really see that though, that he is ready. I mean, fitness wise anyway.
But it's interesting what he was saying about his influence in the dressing room and how he struggled with the language barrier, but now he's a lot more comfortable in the dressing room, and maybe that that contributes to him hopefully not needing Ori and Sissoko there anymore, or maybe he's been forced to kind of branch out a bit without them there. I don't know, but it's when he says he needs games, and needs a rhythm of games. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I think that's what we all feel with Tongi. Yeah. And even though like his kind of no-show at the Emirates and a few lackluster second half displays that we've seen, all of us still want him in the team.
Yeah, I think we need him in the team. And once he gets, that's the thing, he's played 3 games in a row, but he just needs to, I think we just need to keep playing him and play him into form.
Because we can't attack without him.
We need to play him into form, I feel. That's what we need. And once he's in form, then he's going to be hard to stop. But I think these first few games, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be difficult to watch at times. But I think we just need to keep persevering, because otherwise he's never going to get to that level.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on, to be honest. Got a super chat here from Daniel Hernandez saying, Kane, Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe all came from Arsenal's youth academy. When are we going to produce our academy?
Ollie Skip, mate.
From our academy. Look, the thing is with Kane coming through Arsenal's academy, I mean, he left when he was like 9-10 years old. So, I mean, you can't really say he came from Arsenal's academy.
Who, sorry?
Kane.
Yeah, no, it's Spurs academy.
I mean, he was nurtured by the Spurs academy, not the Arsenal academy.
No, they released him Arsenal.
Exactly, at 9-10 years old.
Very young age,
like,
yeah. He's a Tottenham boy, mate. He's a Tottenham boy.
And I get Saka and Smith-Rowe, fine, yeah, good players coming through the Arsenal academy.
Yeah, they're good players.
They are good players, but, we've got our own good players coming through the academy. We've got Tanganga, we had Kane, we got Skip, we've got a few others coming through that haven't really breached that first team spot yet. Dane Scarlett, very young player, but he's got the world at his feet.
When you see Saka and Smith-Rowe performing for Arsenal and getting minutes and stuff, does that make you think like we should give people like Markande like more of a chance? Or do just players develop at different times, do you think?
I think players develop at different times. In terms of Dylan Markande, it's a difficult one because everyone sees him smashing it out for the youth teams and whatever, the under-23s and stuff like that. But who's to say that he's going to smash it out for the first team just because he smashes it out for the under-23s?
It's true, but it just reminds me of, obviously this is a completely different situation, but it just reminds me of when I mentioned it before, when Pochettino in that early season. Like literally every Europa League game. Remember, you used to call him the Europa League Messi, Kane. We used to call him Europa League Messi. Every Europa League game, he would score, 2, 3. He was getting hat tricks, but he would never start in the Premier League. And everyone was like, "Why didn't play Kane? Why didn't he?"
I'd
Just
like
never
to see
did.
him in the Conference League.
And then all of a sudden, he obviously had that Villa moment, and then he broke into the team. That was like that was November time. So it was like, is there, sometimes a player just needs a chance, don't they?
It's a process, and I think that these players, Dane Scarlett, Dylan Markande, a few others as well, maybe a few are out on loan right now. Maybe even Niall John, Harvey White and stuff. Is Harvey White on loan, or is he still at the club? I think he's still at the club.
I think he is still here.
So like these kind of players, Divine as well. We've got a lot of talent in our youth team right now in our under 23s. We need to see them kind of in the Conference League. I don't want to see them in the Premier League just yet, but I think the Conference League is where they should be kind of being bedded into, not the Premier League.
Yeah, fair point. And I think if they're performing well in the Conference League, then give them a chance.
You got to earn your stripes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what Kane did, didn't he? And then he got that chance. All right, that's all.
All right.
A bit more of a positive note to end the stream on, I guess.
All right, well, just one more super chat just before we go. And he says, we've spent the best part of 50 million on young talent. Why are Sessegnon, Clark and even Divine given more of a chance? If you are old enough, if you are good enough, if you're old enough, you're good enough. It's supposed to be the other way around.
I think Clark, I see nothing in Clark. I wish I could. I wish I saw.
I've seen nothing in Sessegnon either.
I wish I saw something when he was in any performances he's made. I just see nothing from him.
And Sessegnon.
Yeah, Sessegnon as well. But Sessegnon is like Clark. We know he's a right winger. We know that's his position. Sessegnon is like, we play him left wing, we play him left mid. We just haven't found a position.
Sessegnon is still living off that season in the Championship when he was 17.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he was. He was very young. But Clark, I can't believe we spent 10 million on that guy. I mean, he's never going to be.
How much did we spend on Sessegnon? Like 30 million.
We spent 25.
Bloody hell!
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 35 million on these two.
That's crazy. Can't believe we did that, and they're nowhere near. Session's injured again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, we'll see you guys in a bit. You've got the Premier League's perspective coming your way today, so keep an eye out for that. We'll see who has come out on top this week in this week's predictions. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.
Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? To let it go and disappear a second.